That's all I can do. In the front, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to London and to the ZWIFT Big Spin 2024. Originally, this was an event that I wasn't very much interested in because it seems just like for fun, not very competitive for prizes. But seeing that this is on Greater London flat route, it seemed like a good opportunity to do another attack at the B category. So here I am. I'm still somewhat tired from the INDOOR ZWIFT, so I'm not sure if I will be able to do my max, but sure as hell I'm going to try. As always, if you are racing, good luck. If you like my content, subscribe and enjoy.
Originally, I didn't want to do this race, at least not today. When I woke up today, I still felt kind of sore from the Alp attempt, and I really didn't feel in it mentally either. I had my doubts that if I did this race, I wouldn't be able to really suffer through it properly and give it my max. So originally I thought I would leave it until tomorrow, but then I went for a walk with my dog and I stretched my legs a little bit and I thought I might give it a go after all. This is one of my favorite routes in the game. It's about 18 kilometers and it's almost perfectly flat, which is a huge advantage for my style of riding. So I thought I'd give it a go to attack the B category once again. And the way I wanted to execute that was to keep with the front group for as long as possible. This event isn't divided into categories, so what category you choose during the sign-up doesn't influence the type of riders you will be riding with, but it influences what course you will be riding on. Which means there is a mixed start and there is going to be a lot of ace as well on the start. So trying to keep up with the front seemed like a good idea to reach my max, assuming I will be able to reach my max in my current state. That also means that I was aware that at some point during this race I would bonk, because I'm nowhere near the shape that I need to keep up with A riders for the whole duration of the race. But I hoped that the bonk would come only after I would have already passed my power duration curve. And I really didn't need to improve much. At this point, my ZFTP is 255 watts, which translates to 3.355 watts per kilo. And in order to be promoted to B, I need 3.36 watts per kilo. Which means if I improved my FTP, ZFTP, by a single point to 256, I would be promoted to B. So what I really need was to stay with the front for long enough that I basically improve my FTP by a single point. Oh, and by the way, I received several questions where I was able to find the criteria for the promotion, and there is an official article on ZWIFT website where all the criteria are listed. So if you are interested about that, I will link it down in the description box. Just as I expected, the race start was pretty fast, and that was exactly what I needed. I really needed to go faster than I would have gone on my own, and this was really a perfect opportunity. So I don't think my strategy for this race was bad. But then again, this is just still a lead-in, so there will be a lot of opportunities for things to go south. During the race, there were several spots in which I thought it might be better for me to stop and try again later, the next day, because I really didn't feel at my best. And to be honest, that might have been the reasonable thing to do. But then again, all the effort I've done up until that point would have been wasted. So every single time I've had that thought, I actually managed to push it back into my mind. Courses like this are fairly treacherous because you would think that it is so short and there is almost no elevation change, so it has to be easy, right? But the thing is, the group goes so fast that you pretty much hurt right from the start. And you will be able to see during the race that my heart rate was actually pretty high during this race. This is 5 minutes after the start and my heart rate is already in 170s, and throughout the race it went progressively higher. This was the first point during the race where I thought the front might actually break away from the group. On the climbs, albeit this small, that tend to happen. So I really tried to push up my power. You can see I'm doing about 6 watts per kilo here to stay with the front. But despite that, the group broke a little bit. The good news is when that happens and there is a flat section after the climb, the group tends to reform. At this point during the race, I also realized this is not Zwift Games event anymore, so I can use my steering device. So I tried to position myself well in the group so I can benefit from the draft effect. And I also used the Zwift Play steering to cut corners like the one on the end of this road. You'll be able to see right now that I'm really cutting the sharp corner, which gave me few positions. So at this point we are returning back to Trafalgar Square, which will basically mark the end of the lead-in, and then the actual route will begin. My heart rate here was nearing 180 and I was almost being dropped by the group, but as you can see here, the group reformed and went as a stable bunch again. What I found is when you are feeling bad during the race, it is almost always better to speed up and catch the group in front of you that is dropping you, because riding in the bunch then can give you opportunity to rest while in a draft, while if you get dropped, you need to push all the power yourself. So always try to stay with the group for as long as possible. Here comes the actual start of the race, and I have to admit that at this point I had my doubts that I will be able to improve my power duration curve by even that 1 watt that I needed. So it cost me a lot of mental negotiation to stay focused and keep pushing and stay with the group, because I honestly really didn't want to. But this is also a part of the training, part of the learning experience, part of the road to improvement. It never is just great progress and great results. There are days where you feel like a flat tire and your all effort is basically wasted for nothing. But even in such cases, I try to frame it in positive way. So even if this race didn't achieve my goal, it would be a very nice VO2 max workout for me. By the way, on the lighter note, I find it very funny how ZWIFT did everything they could to keep this event non-competitive. Basically, there is mixed start, there is late join, you cannot even see your position in the group, so people are not racing. And despite all of that, there is still a huge group of riders who are basically going all out and sweating and really doing everything in their power to compete. So I find that pretty hilarious, actually. And it is good to know that when you need to be racing, you can even join a group ride and you will have your opportunity. This race is actually pretty huge. It's about 700 riders. And I believe it is because there is the big reward wheel. I don't particularly care for that. I'm not really interested in cosmetic rewards that are not performance oriented. So if there was, let's say, a jersey that you can achieve if you do Everesting or anything, I would be interested in that. But this thing is not for me. But apparently I'm in the minority here. So I know a lot of the riders want the bike that is one of the rewards on the spinning wheel at the end of these races. I actually find that pretty ugly, but each to their own. You can actually see in the chat that there is a guy who claims this is his 21st big spin ride. So there is really a pretty big group of riders who do these events on repeat to really get all the rewards. But it's not my thing. So here's the Palace of Westminster, and this pretty much began the stretch of the road that would finally break me. As you can see, the group is already speeding up and somewhat dropping me. This happened several times during this race, and by some strange miracle, I always found a way to get back into the group. There was actually a few times I wanted to throw in the towel, but then I always remembered that I still can go. I still can go harder and I still go with them. And once again, me slowing down would be purely mental. And that gave me juice to continue for a few times. What made me nervous at this point, however, was that I was hanging in the back of the group with almost 180 BPM heart rate, and I wasn't giving too big of a power output, actually. Right now, I have power output about 230 watts, and that really isn't enough to improve my power duration curve. So I was really working hard here, but it wasn't nearly enough to what I needed. Right here, I actually thought this might be it, but I managed to push one more time to catch the group. as you will be able to see in a few moments. Moments like this are ones that I'm really proud of when I'm cycling, because it would be very easy a few moments ago when the group was leaving me to say, okay, I'm dropped, I will slow down right now. But it was really within my physical power to speed up and catch them. And every instance or every realization like that really helps you draw from that experience when things get hard in the future races. But as you can see, the group is leaving once again, and this was the time where the effort level actually broke me. I think I should have gone after them once again, but as you can see, I'm at 182 BPM, and I tried to increase my power, but the group was leaving so fast, I wasn't able to keep up.
That's it, guys. That's all I can do in the front. So I'm just going to finish in peace.
So I managed to hammer pretty hard for about 15 to 16 minutes, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. I would need to stay with the group for about another minute or two to really reach my goal and improve my FTP.
I'm still fatigued from the Alp.
But as I said when I was creating the channel, even the losses are part of the experience, and I said I would share even the failures because they are part of the experience.
I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
So at this point it was mainly about finishing the race in one piece. I probably should have gone completely easy, but that's not something I really wanted to do. So I was somehow pushing. Yeah, this wasn't a display of my best riding decisions. So the effort in this race wasn't enough to get a B promotion, but I might actually take this as an opportunity to try the C exclusive races for the Zwift games. As you probably know, C and D category has their own epic and climb stages. And I heard that especially the climbing stage, the mountain mesh, I believe it's called, is pretty ruthless. So while I'm still able to race in C, I might actually try to do that. And that could be fun. But at this point, I have to give myself a few days of rest to regain some power. So I'll probably race on Saturday, not earlier.
I'm starting to get cramps.
Yeah, at this point, my whole body probably just joined the protest against me sitting on that bike. And I'm wondering at this point, how would that go if I actually waited the extra day? But I did what felt to be correct at the time, so I should have no regrets.
I cannot push that hard. I've got cramps in my left calf. I was running yesterday, so it might have to do with that.
In retrospect, I don't think it was the running that broke me in this race. After all, I was just running very lightly with my dog. And it wasn't that long of a route anyway. But I think it was the accumulated fatigue from the 2 long races that I did in the last 2 weeks, the Epic race and the Alp.
Oh.
You can see here I have 180 BPM heart rate, and I'm not even going that hard. I'm not even at my FTP right now. So that's a clear sign my body wasn't ready to race today. So this pretty much concludes my today's race. It wasn't a success, but I promised I'd share everything, and I think that's the correct way to do. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. Hopefully the next race is going to be success again, but if it's not, I'm going to share it again. So enjoy the rest of my very poorly executed race. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.
Okay, now I've got cramps in the other leg as well. I won't be able to sprint this time. Let's at least put some effort. Let's take this one. Oh, 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 oh.